see, our entire culture seems to be built on this idea that we need to be validated by others. It's almost like we've been conditioned from a young age that our worth is measured by how others perceive us. And the thing is, this idea isn't just some abstract concept we learn in a classroom, it's woven into the very fabric of our everyday experiences. It shows up in the way we check our phones for likes, in the way we listen for approval from our colleagues or loved ones, or even in the way we see success in relation to others. We've been led to believe that if we're not constantly receiving external validation, there's something wrong with us. But in truth, this is the trap. It's easy to feel like you need to be constantly visible to others, to be constantly acknowledged. It's almost like a thirst that never gets quenched. The more validation you seek, the more you feel you need it. It becomes an endless loop, a cycle that starts small, almost imperceptibly, but quickly becomes all-consuming. You wake up in the morning, check your phone. Did anyone comment on my post? Did anyone like my photo? If you didn't get the response you wanted, your whole mood shifts. You feel defeated, even if you're not fully aware of it. It's as if your emotional state is at the mercy of a few clicks and likes. But this isn't just happening on social media, it happens in real life too. Think about the last time you went out with friends or family. How many times did you look for signs of approval? Did they agree with you on that movie? Did they laugh at your jokes the way you wanted them to? Did they compliment you on what you were wearing? Even something as subtle as how someone responds to your opinion can dictate whether you feel validated or rejected. And here's the kicker: when that approval is absent, you don't just feel neglected, you feel small. You feel unimportant, like you don't matter. And all of a sudden, the whole day or even your entire week can feel ruined. It's the psychology of external validation. We place so much weight on the reactions of others that we lose sight of the most important approval of all, our own. So, how do we break free from this toxic need for validation? Well, it begins with recognizing the root cause. And here's the truth. It's fear. Fear that we won't be accepted. Fear that we won't be enough unless someone else affirms it for us. It's a deep, visceral fear that we're not worthy on our own. And let's face it, this fear is so powerful. It can make us do things we normally wouldn't. It can drive us to people please, to say yes when we want to say no, to ignore our own boundaries because we're afraid of disappointing others. We're so afraid of rejection, of being alone in our opinions, in our desires, that we bend ourselves out of shape just to avoid it. But the truth is, seeking validation from others isn't a true solution. In fact, it only worsens the problem, because the more we seek approval, the more we give away our power. We're basically saying, I can't trust myself to feel worthy unless you tell me I am. And that's a dangerous place to be. You start living for everyone else, rather than for yourself. You start letting other people's opinions, often fleeting and shallow, define your sense of self-worth. It's like giving away your emotional energy to others without getting it back in return. Over time, this can lead to burnout, feelings of inadequacy, and even resentment. You might find yourself stuck in relationships where you're constantly trying to please others, but never feeling truly fulfilled. You're working for validation, not connection. You're seeking approval, not authenticity. But here's the thing. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're enough. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're valuable, because deep down, you already know it. You've always known it. It's not about external recognition, it's about recognizing your own value, just as you are, right now, at this very moment. It's about tapping into your own inner power, which has been there all along, waiting for you to acknowledge it. So, how do we begin to shift this mindset? How do we start validating ourselves instead of seeking validation from others? The first step is to acknowledge that you have a choice. You don't have to live your life at the mercy of other people's opinions. When you stop seeking validation, you free yourself from the shackles of comparison and judgment. You start embracing your uniqueness. You start choosing your own path without the need for constant external validation. You give yourself permission to be imperfect, to be human, and to be you without apology. And then comes the magic. When you stop seeking approval, you start attracting it naturally. When you embrace who you are, others start noticing you in a way that's authentic. They'll be drawn to your confidence, your authenticity, and your ability to stand in your own truth. People are more likely to admire you when you stop trying so hard to win their approval. It's a paradox, but it's true. When you stop seeking validation, you start commanding it effortlessly. Now, this doesn't mean you should isolate yourself or cut off relationships. Human connection is important, but it also means you must stop depending on others to complete you. You are already complete as you are. You're enough. You don't need constant external reassurance. You need to reassure yourself first. The next step is to engage with activities that nurture your self-worth. Do things for yourself, not for approval. Take time for self-care, practice mindfulness, and cultivate hobbies that make you feel good without worrying about what anyone else thinks. When you start doing things for yourself, without any expectation of validation from others, you'll discover a deeper sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. And remember, self-compassion is your best friend. You are not perfect. No one is. So be kind to yourself. When you make mistakes, don't beat yourself up. Recognize it, learn from it, and move forward with love and understanding for yourself. You deserve that kindness, just as much as anyone else does. At the end of the day, the most empowering thing you can do is to start validating yourself. Recognize your own worth, your own strengths, and your own unique contributions to the world. When you build that solid foundation of self-worth, you'll no longer need the approval of others to feel good about yourself. Instead, you'll be living from a place of abundance and self-assurance, where validation becomes secondary, and authenticity is your primary source of confidence. So, the next time you feel the urge to seek validation from others, pause for a moment and ask yourself, do I really need this? And if the answer is no, take a deep breath, reconnect with yourself, and remember that you are enough just as you are. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you ever struggled with seeking validation? And how did you begin to break free from that cycle? Share your experiences in the comments below. I'm excited to hear how you've embraced your own worth. And, as always, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from hearing this message. Thanks for watching, and remember, you are worthy of love, success, and happiness just as you are.